Hello, Army of Light Earth Division, the boots on the ground. This is Shawna L. Francis, and today is May 23rd, 2023. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining me for this weekly briefing. What a week, what a week, what a week. I hope you're all doing great, and I really do appreciate you being here. I lost a handful of subscribers last week after the video I made. Not exactly sure why, but I do know that my mission is evolving, it's transitioning. Things are definitely different than they were, with Queen Elizabeth or the daily briefings that I was doing, the daily ascension updates. I'm definitely into new territory here. So I really appreciate you being here, rooting for me, hanging out for this mission. Not only that, guys, but you're here along on this mission with me. We're on a mission of light. This planet is ascending. Humanity is ascending with the planet. There'll be a handful of folks that will actually make this ascension. So we are doing everything that we can to help anchor the light on the planet right now, to bring all of our gifts forward, to see beyond this illusion, beyond all the fear. We're also learning deeply about the negative reptilian influence that's been wreaking havoc on this plane of existence since forever. And how it has been able to go so under the radar for so long, to be undetected by most people for so long. It's mind-boggling. I mean, it's a testament to just how incredibly adept the negative reptilians have been at subjugating other species, subjugating humanity. They've been at this for thousands of years. So I'm just really I'm feeling quite honored to be able to work with these higher dimensional beings of light who are willing to come forward, to bring this information forward, to give it to us straight. Here's what's going on. And then allowing us time to integrate this information. Speaking of integration, this week, it's been trying on so many levels for me. Last Tuesday, if you remember correctly, Melchizedek talked about bringing me, and all of us to, where humanity has not ever been before. And, coming into this next phase here, stepping over the line, and there was big applauses and cheering for this, right? Applause and cheering for this. Going where no human's gone before, blowing my mind in terms of having a more broader understanding of existence, learning things I've never learned before, understanding things. And they talked about the soul being turned inside out, whereby I can see what's going on the inside. It's going to be accessible and available in terms of learning. So we've started that process in earnest. I have been meditating at least 5 hours a day in a couple, 2 to 3 sessions a day, while I was up north in Mulahey taking some time before I left, and today was no different. So I'm working really hard at this. And so is Melchizedek, to be honest. And some interesting things happened, and I'm a little nervous to share it, to be honest, because I'm still having a hard time coming to grips with this stuff myself. So we started out with some soul retrieval cleanup. So made the video Tuesday. On Wednesday, that's really what the 3 hours was used up doing. We had talked about the black box technology, the black cube technology last time, and how a part of my soul was retrieved out of that. They continued that work on Wednesday with me. Then on Thursday, I basically drove 8 hours north to Mulahey, a little beach town that I really love, spent some time there. But even that night, I sat down with Melchizedek for a good 3 hours. In fact, I think I only spent 4 or 5 hours at the beach total over those 4 nights that I spent in Mulahey. I was really just sitting on this couch, meditating, working with them, trying to well, I'll explain this a little bit more. So what it was feeling like, what it has been feeling like imagine if your body is silly putty. And I'd sit down for this work that first night, and it felt like my body was made of silly putty, and they were stretching it. Melchizedek was stretching from here, and then they'd stretch from here, and then they'd stretch from here, just straight up. And I was just, it was almost psychedelic in nature. My body was being contorted, and I'm like, I believe they're trying to pull me out of my body. So if you remember, guys, I've only had one true out of body experience while I've been in a waking state. It was between kind of waking up in the morning and being fully awake. So somewhere in there, I had left my body for a moment, and then I came back into my body. It felt like I had actually physically levitated. So this is what it felt like they were trying to do, trying to remove my soul out of my body, astral project, doing that, an OBE, an out of body experience. That's what this felt like. And it was just awesome. But I really didn't get out of my body, but they tried very hard. It took a few hours. Okay, so that happened. The next morning, Friday morning, sat down again with them. I was trying to, I was trying to figure out how to explain to you what this feels like, to have them basically help me bring my essence out of my body, bring my soul essence out of my body. And by the way, it did happen on that Friday to a certain extent, but since then it hasn't happened again, but we're really trying hard at this. And I was, talking to Melchizedek, and it felt like what we're trying to do is have what I would imagine to be an ayahuasca experience, a journey on ayahuasca, which I've never done, but without doing the ayahuasca. And they said, yeah, that's an apt metaphor for the work we're trying to do here. It's like, we're trying to have this expanded consciousness through this energetic work. And quite honestly, I feel like I've had some resistance to it, even though consciously I'm like, yes, let's go, let's do this thing, I'm ready. I think I've actually had some resistance to doing this, a little bit of apprehension to doing this, and remember last week they said, once you cross this threshold, there's no going back. And I do feel like there's an aspect of me, my higher self perhaps, who knows what this is. As I sit here right now talking to you, I really don't know exactly what this is and what this is going to be like, but I think a part of me does, a higher part of me does. And I feel like there's some resistance. Through all this energy work this week, I've been extremely emotional, just lots of crying, lots of tears, maybe not even knowing why I'm crying, but again, honoring that process, allowing those tears to flow, even if I'm not exactly sure why. I think some kindness, even like just these little acts of kindness that came my way during this last week, just touched me so deeply. I just was feeling it so deeply. Also, another thing that I've been grappling with is it's my dad. It's the 1 year anniversary of my dad's passing in a week and a half. So that's June 2nd. So I've been thinking a lot about my dad and missing him, really missing him. So it's been a roller coaster of a week, to be honest. And just wait until I have till I tell you about what happened on this last Friday. All right, so in the morning, did this energy work again where I feel like they're just trying to pull me out of my body. I felt like my body physically was contorting, even though it was just the energy. Really quite incredible. All right, and I sat down for an afternoon session. So that was the morning. In the afternoon, I came back and we started up again. And I'm really just trying to take advantage of this downtime. If I'm here at the casitas, I'm busy. I'm running around. I've got people here, friends stopping by, going out to dinner, cleaning, laundry, all that good stuff. So this was perfect. Again, all divine timing to get up to Mulahay to have some alone time here. So I sat down. Actually, it was 8 p.m. So I'm seeing this here. And after about a half an hour of doing this energy manipulation and kind of pulling me out of my body, I felt myself running through a dark cave, running through a dark passage, and just like kind of at a sprint through this passage. And I come out into this expanse. It's like a cavern type situation, or a cave, another one of these caves. And it's just like out of the Indiana Jones movies. It's like gold everywhere, treasure, you know, it's gold as far as the eye can see, and it's in this dark cavern, but somehow it's all illuminated. So I go into this cavern, and there is the Ark of the Covenant again, the Ark of the Covenant. And if you're new to my channel, there's quite a bit of backstory with the Ark of the Covenant. And I'm going to say this was happening fall of last year. So November, before Queen Elizabeth came in, all this information came through. And I also went back in time through the halls of Amenti to understand my reptilian lineage and why I switched sides from being a negative reptilian forever now to fighting for the light as a seraphim. So hopefully some of you guys will remember this. So the Ark of the Covenant, I went right up to it. I slid that lid open again. And if you remember, team, there was the skin, or kind of the form of the reptilian who I used to be in this, and this is how they introduced me to this lifetime. So I open that up, and there's the skin. I bring it out, I put it on, and I become that reptilian from 200,000 years ago. And if you remember, her name is Isa. So she was female. I was female in that lifetime, 200,000 years ago or so, I've been told. They said, put this, you know, become Isa. So I put this on. And it was just like putting on a mask. It was so bizarre, and it felt extremely real. And all of a sudden, I find that I am back in that lifetime. I have become Isa in that lifetime. And I am just, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm now what? And sorry guys, this is hard for me to talk about because it just seems so outlandish. So Melchizedek said, Shawna, we'd like you to, you're going to need to kill your husband in this lifetime. Okay, so my partner in that lifetime actually murdered me for speaking out against the regime. So it's very hierarchical, the negative reptilians. I had 2 sons in that lifetime as well, and I do in this lifetime as well. But in that lifetime, and I was trying to advocate for them and protect them, and I was questioning the brutality of what we were doing. And I got killed by my husband for that, like a dagger to the throat type of thing. That is how that lifetime was presented to me through the halls of Amenti. So Melchizedek said, Shawna, we'd like you to kill your husband. And it was like, okay. So I remembered in that moment how exactly it had come down to where he was going to kill me. And so I set it up to where I was able to have my own knife or sword. And as he came at me, I plunged this sword like right underneath his sternum, and I killed him. I killed my partner, husband, in that lifetime. And then they said, now we'd actually like, you're going to need to kill yourself too, because we need you to incarnate quickly. And so again, in that moment, I'm like, okay, yes, this makes sense. And I did it. Like again, the throat, like the daggers to the throat. I've died that way so many times. I've seen so many lifetimes where my head's been chopped off, or a knife to the neck. So we did that whole thing again. And I came out of that experience pretty quickly, and it was kind of like back into my human body experience pretty quickly. And I actually, before I came back into this life, okay, so I had killed myself. They said, we need you back into a new lifetime quickly, so you're going to need to do that. So I did that. And then I had actually seen a second negative reptilian very different from what I looked like as Isa, more browns and tans, formidable looking. It's like this being had, it looked like, you know, clout of some kind, a lot of respect and a lot of power. And so Melchizedek said, we want you to, you know, become this person, become this reptilian. And once I was in that reptilian's body, they said, we need you to kill yourself. We need you to kill yourself in that body. So it's like I guess I flipped myself off of some kind of a bridge or something. And again, in that moment, it all made sense. It all made sense that I was going to do this, that a part of me, this consciousness was in this being, and I basically committed suicide as that being. All right. And then a third thing happened here. And I'm sorry, team, because I know this is so bizarre. It's still bizarre for me. And Melchizedek is really encouraging me to share this information with you. So what came next before I came back into this body was I saw this round, flat face with this red around it. And I saw these deep set eyes, really gnarly, deep set eyes with like a lot of dark around them, black lips and black rotting teeth. I saw this being in this weird space, and it caught my attention. And this being, I mean, it was not reptilian. He came through and he said something to the effect, I will bring back your dad, your father, if you stop fighting this. If you drop this fight, I will bring back your dad. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this being pitched this huge fit. He pitched a fit. And he said, well, I'm the one who's been holding your essence captive, and I'm not going to be letting it go. And I said, it's already done. I'm already out. The deal is done. And basically I popped out of that experience. Okay, so that was convoluted, and I know I didn't explain that very well. So Isa, then this other reptilian, and then this other being, which I would equate with a Satan type being. Satan type being. There was not going to be a deal to be struck with me over this. My dad would never, ever have approved that. And nor did I believe the guy, you know. So I came out of that. I'm like, Melchizedek, what the heck just happened? I'm like, this is just too bizarre. I'm like, where do we go from here? And they said, Shawna, dear one, you did excellent work tonight. Thank you for diving in with us. I'm like, well, yeah, that was definitely different. And they said, Shawna, you've changed the course of humanity and this struggle with the negative reptilians irrevocably. It was a serious correction that was needed in the timeline, so thank you for following our advice. Shawna, we will continue to work with you in your sleep time. Please just relax and we'll catch up with you in the morning. And so that's how that day ended. So this is starting out just very bizarre. Okay. So I went to bed at like 10 p.m. 6:30 in the morning, I'm sitting back in that chair and I'm wanting to understand what the heck happened. What was all of that? It just was too strange. I did feel good the next morning. They had done some work, I think. I felt very energized and at peace, but I did sit down with them and I'm like, I'm just very curious about what happened yesterday, what happened last night. I'm like, I don't feel like, you know, did I actually leave my body to do this work? Did that go according to plan? I said, are you guys available? Are you here? And they said, yes, Shawna, we are. Good morning. I said, thanks for coming in. I'd really love to start off right away by talking to you about last night. And they said, Thank you, Shawna. You'll just have to trust us with this. You are right in that, we are right in the middle of making some very critical timeline adjustments. And what you did last night was an important component of those adjustments. Please do not doubt this. Though it didn't seem that it was much of a big deal to you in the moment, the removal of these two reptilians gets us all on the pathway to ascension, where things can be flowing at a more brisk pace and will be a little bit easier. They said here, your husband in that lifetime as Isa became an extremely bitter and angry, yet influential leader after your death. And he raised your two sons to be extremely lethal and brutal. They also had a big impact on the early programs regarding human subjugation. And they also helped pave the way for creating an environment that welcomed the off-planet reptilians to collaborate with them on such programs. This was all part of the plan. Shawna, this was your plan before you incarnated here in this lifetime. All right, team, so we've heard this a lot. You know, these guides, yours, mine, all of our collective guides here, they are our liaisons with our higher selves in order to help us implement these plans that we came up with before we came into these bodies, especially as light workers, you know, coming into this body here on the earth plane to help with the ascension. We're in an early phase of the ascension, a critical early phase, right? And this also just helps me, it just helps reinforce for me that time is an illusion. Timelines, time, I still get really hung up on all this. It's not something I feel like I have a really good grasp on, that time doesn't exist. Timelines, you know, timelines converging, timelines coming together, corrections to timelines. All right, and they said here, there will be more such course corrections at a later time, dear one. Thank you again for trusting us through this process. I said, okay, thanks, Melchizedek. I said, can you please tell me more about the second reptilian, where I killed myself in that lifetime, or I had that person kill themselves? Can you please help me understand this? And they said, Shawna, again, this was an influential negative reptilian, early in the budding of these human earth programs. This particular being laid the foundation for the deep subjugation of women, human women on the planet. This idea originated with that being. And that program still had far-reaching impacts, as it does today, but through the removal of this being, the impacts are not so catastrophic to the human race. Okay, so I have no idea that if the days before this timeline adjustment, things look different for women, and now because of this timeline adjustment, things are better. I mean, really what they're saying is that this is true, that this is true. So we still have the subjugation of women. That's been a big impact here, but it's not quite as catastrophic as it could have been. All right. All right, so here we go. I said, well, it just, you know, I said, in that moment when I was in that being's body and flung myself off that bridge, I said it seemed easy. It seemed kind of like my imagination. It didn't seem hard. It just like, you know, we just did this thing. It just didn't seem very real, I said. And they said, we understand that, Shawna, as your perception here would not allow you to feel the full impact in that life and also taking of those lives. Consider it a protection mechanism. All right. I said, thank you. I said, so in order to carry out these acts, did it require that a part of my essence left my body? Did I actually astral project to do that? Can you tell me more about that? yes, Shawna, that's correct. With our help and the help of others, there was an extraction of the core parts of your energetic field with consciousness that were able to be inserted into these other beings in a deep way that allowed the conscious manipulation of thought form. The conscious manipulation of thought form, which then allowed you to, in a real way, carry out the acts that you did. A core aspect of your consciousness left your body and entered those two bodies and was able to carry out the acts that we had recommended to you. And this was real, Shawna, insofar as your understanding of reality. So you can see, guys, why I'm just struggling this week with this information. The whole thing. It's just, you know how I've explained before how I get to these new points and I freak out. Well, this is my freak out week again. Like, you know, I get to the next level and something new happens and then I freak out. So this is me freaking out this week about this stuff. And I continue to ask about this all week, this event, this experience with these two beings. And for some strange reason, I didn't ask about the Satan being, but I'm going to. I'm going to get to that. All right. I said, okay, thank you, team. I said, so we talked about me going where no human had gone before, and that it would be like seeing the inside of a soul, having that information available to me. I said, did we do this? Was that part of this? You know, I'm not feeling like, you know, I've hit this point of no return with my consciousness. I'm like, where are we at with this? And they said, Shawna, we will continue to work with your field to bring you to that place where no human has gone before. In fact, we'll continue this work today. But yesterday we did accomplish exactly what we had set out to accomplish. Today we will continue with the decoupling of your core essence from your body so that you may move about more freely with us, and will continue the acclimation process and the knowledge sharing at that level. All right, team, and we're still working on this. All right, they said you're doing a beautiful job, Shawna, right on target. I'm like, okay, it just wasn't really feeling like it. This whole week felt like it's just been a little off. And I'm really coming to realize, you know, I've known this about myself for a long time. I am motivated by accomplishment. So type A, Capricorn, firstborn, you know, overachiever, that's me, right? At least before coming into this awakening. By being motivated by accomplishment, that also comes with a fear of failure. So I am seeing this on display in spades this week. My fear of failure around this, my wanting to get this right, to have it happen right away. They had said within 48 to 72 hours. Well, yeah, within 72 hours, I was out of my body and doing, you know, these timeline corrections. But it wasn't enough. And I was just really, you know, getting discouraged and trying not to be discouraged or frustrated with the program, with this process. You know, so I checked in on the 21st, which was a couple of days ago. Again, sat down, and I'd ask how are Max, Manted, and Racer doing, and they said they're doing good, they're doing fine. They said they're fine. They didn't say good. They said they are fine. I said, well, I'm really glad to hear that. I said, really, I've been bummed out that I haven't been able to leave my body. I know it sounds like that's what we're trying to do here. And I'm concerned about what seem to be murders to me, like committing these murders. You know, killing my husband and hopping into that other guy and jumping off of a bridge. I say, I get that this was all, you know, predestined. It's part of my soul's plan, but, you know, I'm still struggling with this. Even 3 days later, I was really struggling with this. And Melchizedek said to me here, Shawna, we hear your concerns. It must be unnerving to know that you are working at these incredible levels that can only feel and seem to be unimaginable to you. I said, yes, that's true. They said, these are predetermined parts of your mission, Shawna. We are putting the plan into play. You're doing well. Please continue to stay focused with us. Continue to make yourself available. I said, okay, team. I said, anything else that you want to talk about tonight? And they said, Shawna, please get a good night's rest before your long trip heading south tomorrow. We will catch up with you tomorrow night if you'd like to check in. All right, so that was the night before I left Mulegé, and it was an 8-hour drive that I did yesterday. All right, and coming into that. And last night again, I sat down to check in with them, but I was just exhausted, and I just told them I couldn't do anything. Sorry, I have a mosquito bite back here. It's really bothering me. Sorry, team. Okay, today's transcription. Again, got up early, and by 7:45 this morning, I am sitting down with Melchizedek to just get at this again, to keep working at this. Like, I'm feeling like we're making progress with, getting out of the body and trying to commune with them in that way. And I had talked to Melchizedek about this. I'm feeling so emotional, crying at a whim. I said, I'm feeling a bit unsteady on my feet here. And I said, I'm nervous about making this video tonight. I said, I'm definitely in new territory here. And I'm trying to trust. I said, are you here? They said, Shawna, we're here. This is Melchizedek. They said, we hear everything you're saying, dear one. We are in your heart, we are in your head, and alas, we are in your field. Please just relax and try to enjoy this part of the journey. They said, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to succeed here, and we understand exactly why. But as your humble servants, we would ask that you take some deep breaths and relax, be in your joy, continue to trust us, to trust yourself, and to trust this process. We are here with you now, and we will continue to be here in your field. Continue to open your heart, expand your consciousness, and blow your mind. Yeah. I said, wonderful team. I said, I basically had said, I'm so happy that I'm working with you and that I can call upon you at any time, and you're here. I can talk with you. Excuse me. I said, I never want to take this for granted, because I'd done a lot of belly aching over the last week about not feeling like I was getting it. And they said, oh, thank you, Shawna. We're happy to converse with you. These dialogues are important for all who are involved. Please never hesitate to speak your mind, to speak your heart, or try to work through the emotions that are present during this incredible time of transformation. We are here to support you, Shawna, not only with this expanded consciousness, but also with the processing and the integration of this expanded consciousness. So we thank you for your honesty and your willingness to be vulnerable and to take this leap of faith with us. I said, thank you, Melchizedek. I said, I have so many questions and I'm sorry, but I thank you so much for helping to answer them. And they said, yes, dear one, we understand that there are perceived limitations to what you might expect or understand to be your experience, to be your existence. They said, we will disable those perceived limitations one by one, Shawna, and we will reach where we mean to take you, and it will be glorious. They're going to disable each of my perceived limitations one by one, and they will take me where they intend to take me. Okay. They said here, we will continue to focus on this as much as you're able to focus, dear one. As much time as you're able to spend on this, we will show up for you and will continue to work with you at this level. I said, thank you so much, team. They said, we do, however, recommend that you try to get some exercise because this is a lot of sitting, a lot of not moving. We need your body moving, Shawna. So in between these meditations, try to get out and get your blood pumping, get the oxygen moving through your body, get your energy flowing. I said, that sounds great. Thank you. All right. I'd said, you know, please help me tonight with this video. It's a lot to try to explain and a lot that I don't understand still with the timelines. They said we'll be there to support you, Shawna. All right, guys, so this is it for today. And I apologize. I feel like I'm just rambling all over the place. I am quite tired. I leave for home on Friday, back up to Portland, and I'm expecting to get into a bit of a groove, get our newsletters going, get my website launched finally. All the merchandise is, you know, very, very close to being ready to go. I'm so very excited to share all that with you. Fun stuff. I just want to thank you again for your continued support, all your love, your beautiful comments on YouTube, your likes, your subscribing. Guys, you guys are incredible. I'm so honored to be working with all of you. All right, guys, again, I hope this made sense on some level. I love you. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you next week, if not sooner. Mwah.